Hey my pretties, welcome back to my channel. So I am going to share with you guys my quick and easy recipe for chicken adobo. Like I told you guys in my other video, chicken adobo is a Filipino recipe, and I actually love it. I miss going to my favorite shop down in San Diego. I've been going to them for many years, like 20 years. So when I can't get to them, I try to create my own recipe. Now I don't use marrow. Like when they're doing their sauce, they use like marrow from the bones and everything. I'm not gonna get that fancy with it, but I have made this recipe to where me and my kids love it. So I'm gonna get started. I have to let me just turn the camera around and show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what I'm using: bay leaves, garlic, 2 white onions. You can use brown if you like. I have my extra virgin olive oil, some apple cider vinegar. You need black pepper, soy sauce, and you need cornstarch to thicken up the gravy. Okay, so before I get into all of that, I am going to wash off my chicken and put it in a bowl because that's the first step. Now, just so you know, you can use whatever chicken you like. Mainly for this recipe, you kind of want to use dark meat, which is why I have thighs, because the dark meat tends to be a little bit more tender. I love white meat, so I always add white meat, but what I'll do is I'll cut these into chunks. So I'm going to wash both of these, all of this off and put it in a bowl, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, you guys, so this is the chicken after I've already washed it. And what I forgot to mention when I was showing you the pack of thighs, because we are dealing with minimal amount of meat like in the grocery stores and everything right now, normally I would have picked up my thighs that were skinless. These had skin on them, so I had to pull the skin off of them. It was too much skin, and this is not a recipe where you really want to keep the skin. So I pulled all the skin off, and then this is the chicken. The breast meat is down at the bottom. I haven't cut those yet. I'll do that after I saute the meat, but we'll get to that. Okay, so in preparation, you want to do this, and then what you're going to do is you're going to add your soy sauce and your apple cider vinegar and some black pepper. And you want to do that maybe an hour or two before you're actually going to cook dinner, because you want to let that marinate in both of those sauces. And I do that, and I just put it in the refrigerator, which is what I'm about to do. And then I'm going to run out to the store, and then when I come back, I'll go ahead and start cooking dinner. So for the recipe, I'm old-fashioned. I don't normally use measurements. I don't. I got that from my grandmother. So, but for a recipe like this, I would say use 1 cup of soy sauce and 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. So whatever you use in one, just use it so it'll be equal. So for me, like I said, I'm just going to pour. You can't really go wrong with these, like even if you add too much, because it's not going to do anything. You're going to saute these. This is just kind of letting it sit in it. So I'll just pour that. And like I said, I don't know how much I put in there, but my recipe always comes out right. Okay, so apple cider vinegar, and do not use white vinegar. You have to use apple cider vinegar. Okay, so then your black pepper, and you kind of want to be generous with this. And then you're just going to move it around. Basically, you're tossing the chicken. I'm just getting all the flavors in there, getting some of that black pepper down there. You guys, this feels so weird trying to do a video on camera for you guys cooking. I like it, but I'm not used to it yet, so bear with me. So there's the breast. There's a few more down there. So this is it. You basically do that first. And I'm gonna add a little bit more pepper. You can toss this with your hands, but I prefer not to. I just washed my hands after I washed the chicken, so I don't really want to touch the chicken again. And that is it. So now that all of that is tossed, I'm just going to let it sit in that. I'm gonna let it sit in this. I'm gonna actually put some foil over it and put it in the refrigerator. And I'm gonna run an errand real quick and then we'll come back and finish it. Okay, so now that this has been marinating for about 2 hours, because I was gone that long, I'm gonna move this over and we're gonna start with the next process. So now I'm taking my garlic and I'm gonna break it down. I am going to use 4 cloves of garlic. It's solely up to you. Let me move this. I'm gonna dump this in the trash. It's solely up to you how much garlic you want. I absolutely love garlic and I love the taste of it when I do my adobo. So this might be a little extreme for somebody that doesn't really care for garlic. If you don't, then I would say just use 2. So what I'm gonna do is take the ends like that and cut those off. So now that I cut the ends off, what I'm gonna do is basically just peel the skin off, or the outer layer. Okay, so now that I have these like this, I'm just gonna cut them in half. And then I'm gonna cut it in half again. Like I said, you don't want them to be too small, because you're just gonna fry them down. I keep saying frying, you're gonna saute these. So I think that's small enough, because you don't want the pieces to be really, really small. So yeah, let's go ahead and put these in the oil. Okay, so I have my frying pan going on medium. I'm just gonna put some olive oil in there. Not a lot, but just enough to saute the garlic. And then you're just gonna set your garlic in there. So what this is doing is you're basically making like a garlic oil. You're going to brown the garlic so that the oil that's in the pan actually tastes like garlic, and then that's what you're gonna use to saute your chicken. So you just brown these up. Let them sit there. You can move them around. If you want, you can you know, like mash them down a little bit more. It's up to you. I'm deciding to break these down a little bit, just a little bit. Now you won't actually be using the garlic in your recipe. This is the only reason why you need garlic, is to kind of make your grease taste garlicky. And what I like to do is I'll keep my garlic after you're done. I put these in a separate container and I keep these in the refrigerator just in case I want to use them when I'm making pasta or some kind of sauce or something. Now see how they're turning brown? That's pretty much all you want to do. Okay, so now that they're nice and brown, I'm just going to take these and I'm going to scoop them out and put them on this plate that I have right here on the counter. You're gonna take your chicken and, sorry I can't get it in the frame, you're gonna take your chicken and you are going to put pieces in there just to brown both sides. So you're gonna add pieces in here to brown both sides. And you're not trying to cook these all the way through, you just want to brown both sides of them. But what I do is I put this pan right here. Once I brown both sides, or you know, kind of not even brown it, you just want to flip them over like after a minute or two. Okay, so this first batch is done. And I'm just gonna move them over here. Do not drain the grease and the juice that's in the pan. You need that. And like I said, just repeat the process. Okay, so I did 1 minute on the other side and I just flipped them over and that will be it. This smells so good, you guys. It smells like the garlic, the soy sauce, the apple cider vinegar. It's just so good. And as you see, it created its own little juice down in the bottom, which is a good thing. Okay, so now that these are done, the only ones I'm gonna take out are the breasts because I wanna cut those. So I'm gonna add those to this pan over here. If you're not using breasts, and you don't have to do this. If you're just using thighs and like drumsticks, then you're pretty much done with that. So put your other meat back in. I'm gonna turn the fire down, kind of to like almost to low, not completely to low, but low. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So that's the thigh meat. Now what I'm gonna do, I need to go cut the breast meat because these pieces are too big. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut those down, and like I said, this is not done. The outer part is the only thing that you were worried about cooking. So I'm just gonna add these in there. And because I like a lot of pepper, I am gonna sprinkle some more pepper on here. And the next step is that marinade that you had in your bowl from when you were marinating your meat. You're just gonna pour that over it. And this is when you add your bay leaves. You want to add, I like to find the biggest pieces in there because the smaller ones are hard to spoon out when you're done cooking because you don't want to leave these in here. So you add, I usually add 4 bay leaves because they pack a lot of flavor. I try to find the biggest ones. So that's 3. And let's go with this one, and 4. Let's just do 5 because it's a lot more meat. So 5 bay leaves, and that is gonna be it for right now. So I'm just gonna add my lid, and you wanna let that cook down for about 40 minutes. I'm gonna say 40 to 45 minutes. You just basically are cooking this on low. It's gonna simmer down and create juice and everything. So that's it for now. But while I'm waiting for that to cook down, I am going to go ahead and cut my onion so that I'll have that ready. And these you also want to cut in chunks. Just cutting the ends off. And I like to move fast with my onions because I do not have time for my eyes to be burning. I'm just gonna cut them in chunks, so pretty much in 4s. Let me know if your eyes is burning through the screen. And that's pretty much it. So I'm about to walk away from these. Just pretty much putting them on this plate. And then I'll break them down once I'm ready to use them. But that's pretty much it for the onion. Ooh, I'm trying to get finished. Take that middle part out. And that's it for the onion. And while I'm waiting for the meat to cook down, since I still have 35 more minutes, in the meantime, I am going to start my rice. We love jasmine rice. So, and I do have a rice cooker, so I'll be using that. So I'm not going to show you guys how I make rice in the rice cooker, but that's what I'm getting ready to do because you want to put your chicken adobo on top of some rice. I just feel like that's how you need to eat it. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. Okay, you guys, so we are back 45 minutes later, and I'm trying to make sure the lens doesn't get foggy. And this is what we're looking like. Looks good, smells good. So I'm just gonna spoon out the bay leaves because you don't wanna eat those. And this is exactly why I like to keep them big, because they're easier to find. think that was all I put in there. Now, as you can see, the meat is so tender, it can like just fall apart. If you want, you can like break it down, but I'm just gonna leave it how it is. Making sure there's no more bay leaves in here. I think I just saw one more. No. Okay, I think that was it. So, the last step in this is going to be how I do it. If you have a baster, is that a baster? The one that you can suck the juice, you know, like around Thanksgiving, and you put the thing in there, the baster, and you suck the juice out. If you have one of those, that'll work perfectly. But for right now, I'm just going to spoon out some of the juice. You don't have to do it this way. If you're a pro at making gravy, like adding your cornstarch in here and making sure you mix it real good and it's not gonna clump up, then be my guest. But for me, how I make my gravy, because this is the gravy, but you want it to be thicker. So I like to do this. Take the juice. Because honey, I've tried in the past, I got to putting some cornstarch in here, and because of the meat, I couldn't stir it like I needed to. And I started having clumps of cornstarch in my adobo sauce, and I couldn't do nothing about it. This is actually a cheating way. So we're cheating right now. Okay, so I just took out approximately 1.5 cups. Now I have a fork that I'm gonna use to break this down. Sorry if the lighting looks a little different. I'm standing in front of the window and it's getting dark. So let me try to hurry this up. So you have your cornstarch. Uh-oh, all over my hand. So you want to use approximately 3 teaspoons, full teaspoons, like this. But you want to do it a little bit at a time. So you're going to have to be kind of quick with this because you don't want this to clump up, which is why it's better to do it, let me move this over, which is why it's better to do it while the juice is still hot. So what I do is I just kind of stir it around as I dump it in slowly, or you will get clumps. And what you're doing is you're just thickening up this sauce that you're gonna pour back in there. And this is how you're gonna make your gravy. Now 3 teaspoons in here should be enough to thicken up that whole pan. And you're just gonna keep moving it around and then add another teaspoon. And you're gonna do this 3 times. This is how I taught my daughter how to make gravy so she doesn't get clumps. And as you can see, it's already getting thick, but once you put it back on the stovetop and let it cook, it's gonna get thicker. And this is gonna be the last one. Okay, so the last thing to do is to go ahead and, as you can see, it's nice and thick. You'll pour it in here and you'll move it all around, stir it around. I like to try to get it everywhere because it's definitely gonna get thick. All right, keep your fire down on low. Here's my onion. And this will fall apart. Right there. You can break it down some more if you like. So then your onion is gonna cook down and it's gonna become clear, like transparent, as your gravy starts to get thick. And that is it. So what I'm gonna do now, one more time, is put the top back on here. And I'm gonna let this simmer again for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm just gonna check on it real quick. And as you can see, the onions have cooked down. And even the meat is falling apart even more. Oh, there's that other one. I knew there was one more. And that is pretty much it, you guys. That is my chicken adobo. And as you can see in that pot over there, I was going to make broccoli, but the kids said that they wanted corn on the cob. So I put a few cobs over there, and this is it. The kids are ready to eat, so I'm gonna make some plates. Okay, so let's get some rice. And you guys, for the sake of the video, you know I'm being fancy. I'm using my cute little waffle heart plate from Target. Normally we would be eating on paper plates, but since you guys is my guest, you know, we gotta do it right. So that's my rice, and then I'm just gonna spoon some chicken on top of that. And you basically use the juice like gravy, so you know. And there it is, my chicken adobo. Lots of gravy. Okay, you guys, so that is my chicken adobo. I hope this helped any of you guys make it. It's super yummy. It's super hot, so I dare not try to even put a piece in my mouth or I'll be doing that, you know, that little, you know that. So that's it. All I need to do is just put some corn on my plate, and I'm gonna call it a day. So thank you guys for watching. I gotta get used to these cooking videos, but yeah, this smells so good, and I'm about to go eat. Okay, you guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.